Page 24, Ode to Joy. It's a very famous melody. Pretty much every piano student gets it one way or another. It's actually not a piano solo, it's for an orchestra. It's from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, the last movement. Go listen to it if you haven't heard it, it's wonderful. But the melody is here. At the top, they're talking about a phrase. I don't really agree with their definition, but then what's new? I mean, people don't agree on much of anything in music, so it's all right. Because they're calling it a musical idea or a thought. Well, it could be, but to me, you can have a musical idea or a thought without it being a phrase, is my problem with that. To me, a phrase is a musical sentence. And you can kind of hear them, because we talk in sentences. I mean, you get used to it. You hear sentences. You sometimes take a breath between sentences, sometimes in the middle of sentences, who knows. But the idea is we talk in sentences. Well, music can be done in musical sentences, and that's really what they're after here. Let's take a look here in the first line. In the right hand, you have this notes. That is a musical sentence. It's a musical thought from start to finish. The second line is, again, and it's covered by this curved line. We've had this curved line for the slur line. It's also a phrase line. Isn't that wonderful? It's also used for ties. The same symbols used for multiple things. Good luck figuring it out sometimes. Second line is another sentence. Third line is another sentence. There, it goes all the way to the G at the end. And then it just happens to work out here that every line, every 4 measures is a sentence. It's not necessary. It's not the way it normally has to work. It just works out in this arrangement, in this piece. That's the way it is. So you can see in the right hand, because that has a melody, the curved line is over it, and that's the sentence. Take a look at the first line there on page 24 in the left hand. You see that curved line over the left hand? That doesn't sound like much of a sentence to me. So in my mind, that's not a phrase, that's a slur. Same curved line, it's not a complete musical thought. All they want you to do is connect the notes together. Play them connected. That's what a slur does. Well, a phrase, you can connect the notes, and sometimes you can have staccato notes in the middle of a phrase. So don't get confused here, because just because it's got that curved line doesn't mean you're always going to play the notes connected. This is part of the problems between phrases and slurs. In this piece, you're going to connect them. There's no staccatos anywhere, but there could be. So in the left hand, we don't have phrases, we have slurs, but you still connect it. It's the right hand has the musical sentences. Now the left hand could have musical sentences. If you played it and you think, hey, that sounds like a thought, then we'd call that a phrase. That's how I interpret it. Other people will disagree with me and they'll have other ideas, and that's good luck. So 4/4 time, I've already sort of played it for you. You're in this position, quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just have to watch it when you go to put the hands together, because they're playing different notes. In the second measure here, so you got to work it out so the hands are playing different notes, because you can't have any hesitations anywhere. It's got to go beat, 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 beat. Take a look on page 25, second line. Now you have to move, you ended the first line here. The left hand stays here, the right hand's got to go up here. So after you do that, when you lift up between each phrase, just like you would a slur, as you lift up, you just simply move. Instead of lifting up, you're lifting and moving. So it's here and then here. So you may have to practice that. And then 1 and 2. You're up there until the third line. At the end of it, now you got to go down again. You're lifting up and move. So you might have to practice that, because the beat goes on. You can't hesitate or mess up the beat. Dynamic wise, that is the melody, the right hand. Sort of soft, moderately. And they've drawn in crescendo line. They want you to get louder here. The idea here isn't necessarily to get louder and softer. The idea is what they call shape the phrase. A lot of times in phrases, you'll start the phrase out a little softer, you get louder, and then you come back down. It's just, you feel this, you don't force it. So if you feel this, because sometimes you want to start a phrase loud or end it loud. I mean, anything could happen. You could shape a phrase and it's like shaping the sentences, and you have certain accents in your sentences, and you get louder in the sentence and softer in the sentence, whatever. Same thing in musical sentences. You have to feel it. So you get to know it well enough that you're not thinking about fingering and notes and all that, and you're listening to the music, and then you feel it. Here. You feel that phrase inflection, and that's what you do. You can follow it a little bit with the left hand, but keep the left hand softer. We want to hear the right hand, and that's all they're after. You have to experiment with these dynamics sort of on your own. I can't really help you too much at that. They have over at on page 25, down toward the bottom, the last line. I mean, the next to the last line, you've crescendoed up to you're ending at medium loud. That phrase. Now you're loud at the end. And at the last measure, then you come down a little bit and retard. Whatever. Get to know it well enough that you can feel it. You need to feel the dynamics anyway, and that's where it really happens. You can't force these things. You got to feel them. You might force it when you're learning it, but eventually you got to get to where you're feeling it. I'd like to play this with you very slowly, just to detect the notes and the rhythms. It shouldn't be a problem, but let's do it anyway. I'm not going to do the dynamics. You can do that. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go.